everyone. Welcome to another episode of E-Commerce Unfiltered. I'm your host, Katie Deter. Super excited today for these guests that we have. We have Jaime and Paul, the founders of D.R.E.A.M Pet Food. I hope you guys say D.R.E.A.M. I know it's D.R.E.A.M, so I'm assuming it's just
dogs rule everything around them.
Oh, I love that. Okay, well, we'll get into that. But thank you guys so much for being here. It's so great to see you guys finally. We've been emailing back and forth a lot, so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd love to just kind of dive in and learn more about, the brand and kind of your inspiration into how you got started.
Yeah, for sure. So Paul and I met originally all the way back in, I want to say like 2014. We have mutual friends in common. And then we really got to know each other and kind of built a relationship around 2018. We started working at the same ingredient company within the pet food industry. So that's when we really connected, really had an opportunity to get to know each other and our families and things like that. So it was around 2018 and we got together and we really, started clicking. And then in 2020, Paul called me and he's like, hey, I've got an idea about something. I want to talk to you about it. I think we should, or I think I want to start a pet treat brand, based around hip hop, marketing and branding. And I was like, man, that's dope. Hung up the phone, actually talked to my wife. I was like, man, I think it's something I want to get involved in. I called Paul. I was like, man, can I tap in on this? He's like, man, that's why I called you. And ever since
it had to be like, it was only like a 5-minute conversation from me telling him about it and then him talking to his wife. He called me back within like at least 5 minutes. Was like,
he's sold.
Yeah, sold.
Let's do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. You kind of touched on it just a second ago, but I love that you got, inspiration for your brand from like hip hop and kind of growing up in the 80s. Can you tell us sort of why that direction or just kind of the inspiration and decision behind that?
Yeah, I think it's twofold though, right? So it's how we grew up listening to hip hop. Hip hop is a part of our lives from what we wear to how we talk to how we function in our society, right? So it's I would like to say like hip hop lives within us. It's a part of hip hop is a part of American culture. So we wanted to find the intersection between the two. So hip hop and pets, but also around it's a white space within the pet food industry. So it kind of was for me coming up with the idea. It was based upon like, I don't know. Have you ever heard of Rap Snacks?
I have. Yeah.
So Rap Snacks was a slight inspiration in coming up with the idea in which they were disruptive in that snack space. So there's nothing like that in the pet food space, and we're happy to say that we're one of one right now.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what that's going. Yeah, we're one of one right now as far as how we brand, who we market to, how the look and feel of what we're trying to do gets across.
Yeah, I love that. It's cool that you got inspiration from Rap Snacks, and just from doing my own research, it didn't look like there was any other like pet treat brand on the market doing what you guys are doing. So
no, Paul's being nice about it, but
he's being humble.
Yeah, he's being humble, being nice. We, being veterans of the industry, right? So, said before we met at an ingredient company within the pet food space. Paul worked for Purina for a number of years. Like we have a ton of combined experience in this space, right? And with that, we have a ton of experience traveling to events, right? Super Zoo, Pet Food Forum, right? All these events that kind of showcase the industry. And we would go to these events, right? We'd meet our clients, our customers, look at new product showcases. And there were no one at these events, not no one, right? Very few people who look like us, right? At these conferences, right? Second, not to throw shots, but she said this is unfiltered. It is. There's not a brand that represents us and the culture and what we grew up loving and the music we grew up listening to and the clothes we grew up wearing, like Paul said, right? And because of that, we needed to create something. right? We needed something that was fun. We needed something that was different. And I think that was, as we got further into the idea, like that continued to play in our head. Like we need to create something that's, for people who love this genre of music that we love, right? Not just people who look like us, but just people who love love hip hop, right? It's the biggest genre of music, in this world.
Yeah, totally. I love that idea. That's great inspiration. And it's like you found something that no one else was doing and you ran with it. So,
yep.
Cool. So what were like some of the early, struggles you maybe faced as far as like launching a brand and packaging, like everything that goes into it? Just kind of how were the early days?
Yeah, it's honestly, it could be like too many to count. Like, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of learning that goes into like starting something from scratch. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about what we've created, there's nothing that we can look at in the pet food space that mirrors what we're trying to do. So it's a lifestyle brand meets a pet food company, meets a dog treat brand, meets a community, right? So we're always looking to tweak and communicate and all that kind of stuff to our customers and consumers to make them understand. So I say that because a lot of the times when you start a brand, you're able to, I don't know, piggyback off of other brands that have done something similar. We've created this space in which nothing else exists. So that comes up with a myriad of challenges of how you communicate it and be clear and concise in your communication so people understand it, believe it or not. Like we see hip hop, we see it when we look at the package, but we live it, right? So somebody may not get it. So we try to get that communication clear and concise. But there's a lot that stand out to me. I'll let Jamie say a few, and then we can dive into a couple examples. But yeah, I mean, you're consistently learning when you're launching, and I don't think nothing goes according to plan.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I think every founder, right? I'm sure every founder you've talked to, right? Every CPG founder, just every entrepreneur thinks that their idea is the greatest idea in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And we think and still think that same thing, right? And when you think those things, like you have a tendency to like try to go too fast, right? Too far, too fast, and try to do too many things in too short of a time because you're trying to, just take off, right? So, some of the mistakes we made are doing things that we probably weren't ready for, right? Trying to do paid search, Google, right? Like there's a brand building that needs to take place, building brand awareness that needs to happen before you do those things. And we're like, no, we're ready for them, right? People are buying it. People need to know about this, right? And it didn't work, right? And then, just going the PR route, right? Influencer routes, right? Not fully understanding your brand, who your brand is early on, and just trying to get it out there. And then not, to Paul's point, like not having the right communication touch points set up, right? So, we're entrepreneurs. Every dollar matters, right? So when you try to go too far, too fast, sometimes those mistakes become expensive. So that's, those things are probably the biggest things, like just trying to get on the shelf of Target the first month, right? We didn't actually.
Yeah.
We didn't actually.
And you're like, I got to reel this back in a little.
Yeah. It's
right.
tough,
like, chill out.
Yeah, we're learning a lot of that now, honestly. Like, even though we're a little over 2 years in this journey, we're still in the infancy stages of what we're trying to accomplish. We have big dreams, no pun intended, but we have big dreams of where this can go.
That was good.
Yeah,
that might be a future like marketing slogan.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like figuring out, okay, what's the appropriate channel strategy for where we are right now, and getting that honed down to where we're actively doing that for maybe a year, full force, instead of hopping over here and over here and over here and grocery and mass and pet specialty and e-commerce and all that kind of stuff, right? So what is the appropriate direction of your company in that given moment? That's not to say it can't grow to something a lot bigger, but focusing in on that, like I said, focusing in on that channel strategy at first, I think can be a big help when you're first starting off. because we had an understanding. It's like, okay, yeah, we got this cool product. Everybody needs to see it in every place, right? So now we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. We're talking distributors. We're direct to consumer. We're on Amazon. We're on this. It's like, okay, how do we take a step back and then master one of those?
Right.
Master that and then take that next step, right? So,
what are you?
Yeah, there's a ton of learning experience.
What are you trying to master right now? Amazon or your D2C or?
Probably a combination of both, right?
Okay.
So it's, D2C is important to us, right? Because, it's our baby. It's where we started. But then, we have these conversations all the time with our mentors and other people. It's like, Amazon is where the customers are, right?
Yeah.
So, trying to figure out how to balance the two of those, maybe even how you marry the two together, is what we're actively working on now.
Yeah, I definitely hear that a lot from people who maybe start on Shopify and then they're like, oh, well, I need to be on Amazon. So you're not alone. There's definitely like resources out there too. And obviously 8Fig's happy to connect you with some of those resources. If you need them, just let us know.
Listen, offer your help. We might take you up on it.
Yeah. Or if you just need, we're just funding in general, that's 8Figs. So
yeah.
Cool. You kind of touched on branding a little. So I love the dog on the packaging. Kind of curious. Well, you mentioned the acronym for D.R.E.A.M, so I'd love to touch on that, and then also kind of the history or maybe the creative direction of this dog that you kind of use on your packaging.
Yeah, Benny the Beagle.
Benny, oh,
yeah, Benny.
We love Benny.
Yeah, Benny. Listen. Benny's the next Geico lizard. You heard it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Listen, you have to be aspirational, right? Mm-hmm. So Benny was created by a friend of mine that I went to college with. He's an artist, a designer, and he's 10 different things, right, wrapped into one. He's amazing. His name's Van Monroe. He's done work for, President Obama, Spike Lee, Vice President Kamala Harris, a bunch of different people, right? He's featured at the African American History Museum in DC. Like, he's amazing, right? So when Paul and I were trying to figure out, the logo and the direction and things like that, I called him. I said, yo, can you help us out? And he's like, yeah, for sure. I got you. So again, learning, right? Paul and I, at first it was a collaboration, right? So it was the three of us, throwing around ideas, and a lot of the stuff he sent to us early on, not his fault, right? It's Paul's not fault.
It was terrible.
Absolutely.
It was terrible.
Oh,
Absolutely.
no.
Yeah, like never see the light of day terrible, right? Paul and I actually went back like a couple of weeks ago. We were looking for something, we came across and was like, can I cuss?
Yeah, go for it.
This shit is ass. Like, right? Not Van's fault, right? And then Paul and I just had a conversation. It was like, man, we got to let him go, right? We got to let him rock. Like, we have to let him do his thing. Call Van, like, bro, do not listen to us. Go to work. And then what he brought back was Benny. And then the interesting story with Benny is, I don't know, full circle with serendipitous, or I don't know what the word is, but I grew up with beagles, right? Okay. So all through my house, all through my childhood, I grew up with beagles. Van didn't know this when he created Benny, right? And then he comes with Benny, and Benny is a beagle, right? So it's like that full circle moment of like being a kid and, having dogs, and I have two brothers, and playing with the dogs and all that kind of stuff. And then, we talked about this earlier, which is why I'll bring it up. In 1995, like Bone Thugs and Harmony was my first rap tape, right? So like now we fast forward to 2020, 2021. It's like our logo is a beagle and it's around hip hop, right? It just, it felt right.
It feels, I think serendipitous was the right word there.
Appreciate
it meant to be.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love that. That's a cool background story into it. Yep. And I love it. It's a fun, I don't want to say logo, but like a fun little character.
You call it a mascot.
Mascot? Yeah, okay, I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Mascot, yeah.
Mascot is good.
Fun. Any plans to get like a actual real life mascot to go to events or anything? Yeah.
We've talked about that on different occasions, right? So
I've got a 14-year-old. He'll be in the
Throw him in that, do some dance moves or whatever.
He needs a job. This will be his first job.
Oh, that's a good first job. Helping out dad.
Free work though. It's paid. It's a non-paid internship. I don't know if those are
It's fine. That's how you learn the toughest lessons.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. So I originally, when I found you guys, was through the SKU, our SKU partnership. So 8Fig works with them. Would love to just kind of hear your journey with them and how you found them and kind of how they're helping you guys out right now.
I can go.
Yeah.
I'll start by saying this. And I think Paul will agree with this. Like, it's been amazing for us, right? Like, SKU is the program, and the people within it is something that I'm not sure that we knew that we needed until we said yes, right? So, from the first time that we met with them, right, and we had a conversation with them, and they laid out the program and the plan, to actually meeting our mentors, it's been amazing, right? So we have a team of, I'm going to get the number wrong, but I don't want to say it's 7 or 8 mentors, with all across the CPG space, right? Coca-Cola experience, Target experience, co-manufacturing experience, pet food experience. They've been a true sense of the word mentor, right? Like, they've been that for us, right? So, SKU is, I have not a bad word to say about SKU for us. It's been only positive, right? We are maybe 3/4 of the way through the accelerator program. Every week that we sit down with our mentors, we learn something. We learn more, something that we didn't know, something that we didn't know we needed to know. It's just been dope. Like, it's been a dope program.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things.
To add to that, like, you don't know what you don't know, right? So, and Jamie and I don't pretend to know everything, right? So I think it's a rare occasion where you can get this much experience and this much brain power in one sitting, and then literally just talk about everything from top to bottom about your brand, where you are, where you're going, how you started, and then them lending their expertise to help you move forward, right? So it's one of those experiences, to Jamie's point, where, I mean, if we didn't have this experience, I don't know what the next year would look like, because we would have a totally different plan and maybe stuck where we are a year from now. But now we have such a clear picture and direction of how we move in this space, thanks to them and their experience and their knowledge, and then also from the courses that we're getting to take. It's like, again, it's an invaluable experience.
Yeah, that sounds great. I feel like I've talked to a couple founders of some CPG brands that have used SKU, and they've all said the same thing. They're like, I don't think I'd be here today, like where I'm at, if it wasn't for them. So
yeah,
this is not a SKU plug, but we're just talking about
it.
Kind of a SKU plug in here.
It's a SKU plug for us.
It's funny. Oh, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is, Paul and I talked a ton during the time we needed to make the decision whether or not to join the accelerator. And we were fortunate enough to talk to a number of founders who took part in SKU, right, to kind of get their sense of the program. And one of them, I remember her saying to us after she was done, she's like, I literally feel like I could go work for any CPG company, in this world and be successful. And you laugh at stuff like that, right? Because it sounds like hyperbole, and you're like, okay, you got it. But no, I mean, again, the amount of knowledge it's crazy, right? You're talking, I don't even know how many years of combined experience in the CPG space, in addition to access to like the entire mentor cohort within SKU, network within SKU. Like, the resources are unlimited, right? So I actually asked this question the other day. It was yesterday on our weekly meeting. I said, where do people go, right, if you don't have access to this information? Like, where do you go to find this stuff, right? And they're like,
you got to try on there. On there. We talked about the mistakes earlier. It's like, that's literally how you would learn this stuff.
Yeah,
by falling on your face and then figuring it out later. So
I just met. I interviewed someone not in a consumer packaged good product, but clothing, and he said the same thing. So it's just trial error, figure it out. Like, you don't know what you don't know until you have resources like this. So for anyone listening, SKU is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna love this. We'll send them a clip or something.
No, it's interesting. We just had a conversation not too long ago. Like Jamie and I are starting to. I don't know if you say get noticed, but there are people in the space that have reached out for our advice when starting a brand, and we're happy to share what we've learned because I mean, again, we're stewards of this, right? We started this brand particularly for people that didn't have a lot of access or didn't see themselves in what they in their pet ownership, right? So when we have these conversations with people and there's we plug SKU, like we we love it, like we love this opportunity. If you ever have a chance to apply for it, do it. Like just go ahead, see what happens.
Yeah. We're big on not gatekeeping, right? So there have been people within the pet food industry, right? Other pet food brands, pet treat brands specifically, who have been, very helpful to our growth, right? We've been able to reach out to them and ask questions. Hey, what do you think about this? We've got this opportunity. What do you think about this? And they've been like very free with their information, right? Mm-hmm. And it's our responsibility because one of the things we talk about is, someone asked me the other day, like, what is your motivation behind doing this, right? Is it monetarily, blah, blah, blah. And I said, the first thing that came to my mind is, and Paul and I talk about this all the time, we want to influence people who look like us to enter into this space, right? We want everyone to come underneath this tent because there's enough love within the pet food industry from pet owners and pets for all of us, right? And if we can help you take a step into this industry, we're not going to gatekeep that information because no one has done it for us, right? And again, that's what SKU is for us, right? These are people who are not gatekeeping their information, who see your brand and they believe in your brand. And for them, all they want to do, is help you grow it. So for that, we're grateful to SKU. We're grateful to, some of the other, founders. And actually I'll say one of their names because she's been super helpful, is Ava's Pet Palace. So Ava and her mom, like they've been, beyond helpful, in, kind of, hey, look at something this way. Don't look at it that way. Like it's, people within this industry, specifically them, have been, amazing to us. So, thank you. This is on tape.
Yeah, it was on tape. I can give you these clips and we'll send them out to all these people. That's amazing. I'm glad you found, a good resource for you guys. Cool. So switching gears a little bit, I totally skimmed past the treats themselves. I would love to learn kind of what makes them better than, other treats on the market, maybe some of the ingredients, that kind of stuff.
You got it, Paul.
So, no, yeah. I mean, from our perspective, the treats, like we create this brand around hip hop and pet food and pet treats, specifically dog treats. But we know that they have to have specific ingredients for them to be considered among all the other brands that are out there, right? So from a limited ingredient standpoint, from a natural standpoint, from ingredients that you can pronounce on the back of the bag. Like you turn our bag over, you're not going to be in shock and awe. It's not going to have a whole bunch of, there's no fillers, there's no artificial ingredients, anything like that. So like a majority of our treats, we have five different SKUs right now. So a maple bacon bone, a barbecue bone, honey cinnamon chew, chicken and veggie chew, and a peanut butter chew. And all of those have those limited ingredient claims, flax seeds, oatmeal, peanut butter, chia seeds that are functionally good for your dog, right? So we're not a complete and balanced formulation, but we want that pet treat experience to still be healthy and beneficial to your pet. We understand that's a huge driver in the success of your brand in this space. Those are the must-haves in this space. So we did not skimp out on the quality of those ingredients. We just happened to brand it around hip hop, how we grew up, and our love for music and pets.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I have 2 dogs, so I definitely read ingredients and try to stick to the better ones that don't have all those artificial fillers and stuff. So I'll have to pick me up some D.R.E.A.M.
I'll say we got to get some in your hands.
Yeah. I'll order some after this. I'll support the biz.
Yeah, we.
Huh?
Everybody heard that.
I'll log in right after this. I'll send you the receipt. Cool. Okay, I'm switching gears kind of all over the place, but I would love to hear a little bit about kind of your marketing strategy, and maybe if just kind of what you're doing and what's been successful.
Yeah. Our goal is to be everywhere, right? So, we started off direct to consumer, right? And it's, again, we go back to the, errors, or not mistakes, but, they're the learning. A lot of our success that we see is referral based, right? Word of mouth. People feeding the treats and loving the treats, people seeing, Benny and the brand and loving it and being able to relate to it. And, the nostalgic feeling that has been created. So we've started off, building it organically, right? So, a ton of stuff on social. I live in Atlanta, Paul's in St. Louis. Going to events, dog events right here, meeting the people, touching the people, having them see our face, know who we are, right? That's how we started off early on. Then we obviously moved into some of your more traditional stuff where you're, Facebook advertisements, Instagram advertisements, the paid search that we talked about earlier. And then now, year one was a lot of that. Year two, we started to gain some traction in stores. We secured a distribution deal with a distributor based out of Atlanta, which has given us, great coverage in the South. And then we are moving and talking to, some regional grocery chains, smaller footprints to just kind of test the waters and see how it does, in grocery. But, we just want to continue to, like I said, just get the product in people's hands, right? So whatever that looks like, but we don't want to go too fast, right? Because we talked about that earlier. We want to make sure that whatever relationship we form with someone, we are able to one, supply, and two, market it the correct way so that, because these things are partnerships, right? Whether it's with our distributor or whether it's with another retailer like a brick and mortar, or whether it's with our grocery chains, like these things are partnerships. So we want to make sure that we are all prepared to make sure that that partnership is as successful as possible.
Do you find it difficult to, get meetings or get in front of, these regional grocery stores and things like that? Or has it been easier than anything?
I think it's a mixed bag, honestly. Because we're a new brand and we don't have a lot of equity within the space, sometimes it's harder to get meetings than it is with other, literally, it just depends, right? So if if you're talking, like if I was to give advice to any new brand, no matter what space you're in, it's don't get discouraged by the no's and just keep having the conversation. All it takes is one yes, and then you're literally on to the next one. But I think some of the things that that we've realized and also kind of reiterate to ourselves is the easiest part of getting in somewhere is getting in there. It's okay. How do you stay? How do you have the staying power within that chain, whether it's a grocery, whether it's dollar, whether it's mass, eComm, same thing. It's how do you put the dollars and the marketing strategy behind it so you're successful in that space? So that's some of the things that we're learning right now. But it could be as simple as just showing up every quarter, saying how talking to the owners, talking to the buyers, all that kind of stuff is, I think, from our previous experience working in the industry and also now, one of the biggest drivers is that relationship between the buyer and yourself. You can build up so much good equity between that person that even if there's a hiccup, you're still okay, right? It's you manage that relationship, and now maybe next month when you're up and running again, you have an end cap dedicated to you because you have that relationship without spending any money, right? So I think there's different ways and different approaches in which you can secure yourself when you are even on a shoestring budget, or you're being really scrappy with the funds and the marketing budget that you already have.
Yeah, I think that's great advice for newbies who might be out there listening. And trying to learn, get some good advice.
Well, Paul and I, not to cut you off, but Paul and I are sales guys. Yeah, we're sales guys. So we are told no more often than not, right? Paul is the father of twins. I've got a 14-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old. My 3-year-old literally just told me no before I walked into this, right? So it's like we're used to being told no. But when you want something, right? When you want to grow a brand, when something means, when you're involved in something that really means something to you, right? A no is just it's just something in a way, right? To get to the yes.
It's no shame. It's no shame in it.
Yeah,
no shame at all.
Get up and try again. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. 100%. Love it. Great little soundbite there. Get some good advice. Nice little clip for social, All right, I'm going to switch to some fun questions. So I imagine you guys both have dogs. So I'd love to hear just about your pets, your dogs, names, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I have so I moved to St. Louis 9 years ago. And in that move, I went to Stray Rescue out here in St. Louis and got my dog. He is a mix. He's a pit bull mix. The funny thing about that is when you walk into the shelter, he was 8 weeks old at the time, so he's being fostered. Went to go see him at the foster family's home. We had a little connection. I said, okay, let's sign the paperwork. They told me he was going to be 60 pounds.
How big?
He is not 60 pounds. He is 120 pounds. So he is a large.
I see you're 120 and I raise you 160. I have a Great Dane. So.
Okay.
And a golden retriever. So add all that.
Okay. That's a lot of dog.
That's a lot of dog.
Yeah, his name is Apollo. Great with the kids, great with the family. I've never had it's funny. I think I'm entertaining to getting another dog here soon. Just as he gets older, he has another playmate. But I'm interested to see what that relationship looks like because he's really, really chill. Mm-hmm. Like the chillest dog on this planet, and I got really, really lucky.
You got lucky.
I don't think I'll have that same luck with the next dog. So I'm trying to get another dog while he's chill. He can teach him some things from time to time, so I don't have some rambunctious dog running around the house. But we'll see. Yeah.
So for us, interestingly enough, we're in how do I say this succinctly? We're in a transition period of pets. So we had a dog, Buddy Jones. I won't give you his middle name. It's probably not safe. We said we can cuss, but it was a tad aggressive.
Noted.
So Buddy is not here with us. So we are, interestingly enough, either this weekend or next weekend, we're going to be getting a new dog. I've actually got Sebastian, which is here. He's around here somewhere. He's a golden doodle that we babysit a lot, just so our girls, can have companionship like Buddy. But in the next week or two, right, we'll revisit this topic. We'll put the new pup up on the screen so everybody can see him.
Okay, yeah, definitely share on social or something so we can see.
Oh yeah, for sure. My two little girls terrorize dogs, so they haven't.
I can imagine.
They haven't figured it out yet, but they will.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, that they can grow up with, and so we're excited about it.
That's exciting. Every kid deserves to grow up with a dog. So
yes, well, yeah. Not every kid, but yes.
Not every kid. Okay, that's fair.
I'm the kid. I'm talking about the kid. I'm the kid.
I'm like, are you the kid? Love it. Okay, where were we? Let's see. Okay, so if you could pick any celebrity or influencer to sort of endorse D.R.E.A.M pet food, who would that be?
Oh, let me ask you this. Who do you think? Because we have our names, we want to know who you think.
I mean, I would think somebody in hip hop, obviously, who loves dogs. I don't know who that would be. I don't know.
Easy answer.
He's probably the most famous
hip hop and loves dogs. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I was like, Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, wait, yeah, that would make sense. Duh, obvious.
Yeah. So Snoop.
That's our dream collab.
Oh my gosh, he would be so good too. He does such good stuff with like Martha Stewart.
Yeah. We'll take her too. We can come along too. We need that crowd too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, do it. That'd be so fun. Let's just hit him up. Let's just slide into his DMs on social or something.
We'll send him this clip. We're gonna send him this clip.
Snoop, check your DM. We are in your DM. Check your DM, Snoop.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg, if you're listening.
Yes.
Check your DMs.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Wait, yeah, okay, that would be perfect. Is that like your joke answer or is that like your legit answer?
No, that's our legitimate
serious
answer. That's our legitimate answer. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That one took me so long to register. I'm like upset with myself with how long that
you can clip it up to make it sound like it didn't take you that long to figure it out.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll edit this. Awesome.
Okay. And then the other one is Big Boy, so from Outkast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he's really big into the pet space, breeding and things like that. And then just so we talk about music and we talk about pets and the love for music and pets, like those two guys, Snoop and Big Boy, and then they're two of our Snoop being one of our favorite rappers and Outkast being one of our favorite groups. So we're covering them.
I've luckily seen both of them in concert, so.
I've seen Outkast, which is a rarity. So you are in verified there. Like, that one I've seen them once, and
I saw Outkast and Big Boy separate. Like, so I saw Outkast when they were together, and then Big Boy came to Austin.
Oh wow!
And did, a free concert, and then I saw Snoop Dogg in Atlanta. Like, gosh, probably like 2015 or so, 2014 maybe, a while ago.
I'm in Atlanta, and I haven't seen either one of those. So you got me beat.
He was at the Sweetwater 420 Fest.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
they have it. Like I think they have it every year. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so, I'll have to check and see who the lineup. Probably next year. I think it already passed.
I don't remember. I think it's usually in like April.
Yeah.
Yeah, 420, man. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, duh.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't keep me on my toes.
I know. That's right. Listen, I didn't either, so you're not alone.
I'm not alone. Okay. Good. Okay. So, a really weird question, but kind of funny. Have you ever
you're gonna get hints of it. So yeah, one of the things that we were really cognizant of, there's another word like serendipitous, is
big words today.
Right? Yeah, exactly. About making it pleasurable to the owner as well, right? Because especially with food, a lot of it doesn't smell good, right? It's not something that you really want to keep in your house, right? A lot of people keep their pet food outside in the garage or wherever. But with ours, what the flavor is more likely than not what it smells like, right? So that was one of the things. In addition to having something that's healthy and functional and good for your pet, we also wanted to smell pleasurable, to the owner.
I love that.
So they keep us around.
Yeah. So you're thinking of the human beings too. A little bit.
Yeah. And then to answer your question, my 14-year-old Jaren, he's tried it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and not because of a punishment. Not like, hey, you did something.
You're just
wrong.
like, I want to try this.
Right. 14-year-olds, similar to pets, like they'll try anything. So he tried it, and when we go out to like trade shows and things like that, he'll tell people he'll vouch for it. So
like I've tasted it.
Yeah, exactly.
Aww.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got like a good little free intern there. Okay, so my last question, kind of before we wrap up, I would just love to hear your future plans or your goals for D.R.E.A.M.
So I think I think it's good for both of us to answer this question. But I mean, to Jamie's point earlier, we want to be everywhere. We want to be a household name. We want to be a community, right? So we want to have that community support. When we want to be a lifestyle brand within the pet food space with our dog treats. Big picture is that we want to start doing different different types of food too. So like complete and balanced formulations, maybe cat food. I don't know. Cat foods, maybe. But it's just the sky's the limit for how we can move in this space as far as how we've built this brand to be larger than life. And where we have a lot of different avenues to kind of turn into.
Yeah. Paul's 100% right. D.R.E.A.M is something that's important to us, right? Like most founders, we built this from the ground up. We had quote one of my favorite rappers. We had $1 in a dream. We want to, and I mentioned this earlier. We want to encourage people who look like us to enter the space. We want to make room for other brands. We want to grow our brand to where it is as recognizable as Milkbone, or, as large as Purina, right? You don't get into something like this and make the sacrifices that we made or we are making, just to aim low. Right. So, we want to take on the big boys. That's what we wake up every day and try to look towards. But the biggest thing for us is, we want to encourage people, right? That this is something that you can do. It's not an easy thing to do, right? I mean, this, right? What you're doing now is not an easy thing to do, but it's something that can be done. So that's the biggest thing for us. 5 years from now, we want to be selling also pet food. We want to have merch. We want to see regular people wearing our T-shirts or wearing the hats, or using our plush toys, or using our leashes, or whatever it is. We've got big plans for D.R.E.A.M. So we're only getting started.
I love it. So inspirational. But I feel like y'all got a good, head on your shoulders. Seems like you're doing all the right things. So I wish nothing but the best for you guys.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. And then before we kind of wrap up and I do my closing, if you want to share maybe your social channels or your website and kind of where people can find you.
Yeah. D.R.E.A.M Petco, across all social. So dreampetco.com, to purchase, D.R.E.A.M Petco on Instagram, D.R.E.A.M Petco on Twitter, D.R.E.A.M Petco on TikTok. I believe, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. D.R.E.A.M Petco everywhere. So come follow us. What did it say? Come like, comment,
subscribe,
all that kind of stuff.
Comment,
all that good stuff.
Whatever those like YouTubers say.
Yeah, come say hi, right? Leave a review. Tell a friend to tell a friend, right? All that good stuff.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys both so much for being here. I really appreciate your time, and I really enjoyed our chat today.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Awesome.
Take care.
And take care. For those listening, this is eComm Unfiltered, and we'll see you next time.